something out of gardening. Today, I'm going to deal with a small problem and take that problem and turn it into a profit. See, I have this branch on my native red mulberry right here that's blocking one of my main walking paths that allows me to get to my shed. So I'm going to take it out. But I'm not going to waste this branch. So now I've got a nice branch. Let's go see what I can do with it. Okay. So now that I've got this big branch and I don't really want to waste it, I'm going to go ahead and turn it into new mulberry trees. Cloning mulberries from cutting is stupidly simple. It's one of them things that you should be able to do without any issue at all. There are a couple things you want to consider. There are really two ways to go about doing it. One is taking your cuttings while they're dormant and the plant doesn't know that you took a cutting. And this works pretty well. But I found something that works a lot better. And that's waiting until after the first big fruit in the spring. Just about the time that you have no more fruit, that's when you should go ahead and you take your cuttings. Now, what you want is anywhere between 3 and 6 nodes to a stick this size. And when you put it in your soil, you want to make sure you get at least 2 nodes in the soil. You don't need any root tone, you don't need anything. Just remove the leaves. You can leave a couple at the top if you want to. And you just simply stick it in there and make sure you pack the dirt in really well around it. And that's it. You keep it in the shade. You keep it moist. If you're in an area that has low humidity, put it in something like a clear container that you can go in and mist it a couple times a day to keep the humidity up. We really like the high humidity. I live in Florida, so humidity is definitely not a problem. And neither is heat. Now, these leaves, they happen to also make great animal feed. So if you have goats, cows, chickens, don't throw away your leaves. Go ahead and give them to your animals. They will love you for it. They're very high in vitamins. You can actually eat the leaves too if you cook them real well. They have a latex in it that you have to cook out. Not a big fan of eating the leaves. I can't say I actually enjoyed that. Though some people do like them, I'm just not one of them. But chickens and goats love them. So while you're doing stuff like this, you can go ahead and give that to them. It's high in calcium, so your chickens are going to enjoy it quite a bit. Just as you're doing this, make sure that you don't want to do the green here. You want the older material like this down here. You can clone the greener stuff, but it grows or clones a lot better if you're using slightly hardened off or even hardened off wood. Alright, well that pretty much takes care of the little ones, and I'll get 8 of the small ones. I still have this big stick left. This big stick is normally how, when you order cuttings from somebody else that's selling them online, they send you the big sticks, or just pieces from one stick. And it's the same thing. You want to go down and make sure that you get at least 2 nodes that are going to be under the soil and at least 1 above it. So what you do is you just cut it right underneath one of the nodes. And stick it in. Now, there's 1 here, 2 there, but I'm going to go 1 extra because I like them a little bit larger than the basic. Once again, you just count down. You want at least 1, I'm going to go 2. Then I want at least 2 nodes. I'm going to go to this one right here because I like the way it looks. And we have exceeded the ability of those particular cutters. That's what these are for. Same thing, make sure I have 2 nodes. Jam them on in. Now, the larger ones actually have more chance of surviving, but I have cloned them from ones as small as this little guy here. So if you just have a couple little pieces, it's still worth trying. With the really, really micro ones, you don't have as high a chance, but I have done it. That one's not going to get 2 nodes under, so we'll see. We'll see. Looks like I'm going to get 5 of the pretty big ones. Let's see if there's something else in this pile I can use. to go ahead and fill this tray. Well, there's this guy. I have cloned a lot of them in this size range. This should be fine. So make sure you put it in a tray. You can keep water in it. Keep it out of the direct sun. And usually speaking, in 2 to 3 weeks, you start to see some buds form. And then you can do a little pull trick, see if it's rooting. I actually don't recommend doing that because a lot of times it will damage the small roots. So just leave them be. Let them sit until they start leafing out real good. And then just look underneath the pots for the roots. When you start seeing the roots at the bottom of the pot, then it's ready for you to go ahead and take it out and transplant it into something else bigger or put it in the ground. Mulberries are an amazing tree. I have started a 4-inch cutting about this time of year, and come October I have a 6-foot tree. They're really, really underrated, and I highly recommend you get one. There are several different varieties. So this one here is a native red. It is by far not my best. I have one that's called a superior red. The fruit on that one is just outstanding, and that one will be up next. Alright, next up is this red mulberry here. This is my superior red. I want to get a whole tray of these. I don't want to do a big branch like I did on the other one because I don't want to cut the big branches off of this tree. But I do want to thin it out, especially down on the bottom. And that gives me an opportunity to go ahead and train the tree. But out of what I'm going to get here, I'm also going to be able to make myself a whole nother tray with superior red mulberries that I'll be able to use for trade or to sell. So, back over to the propagation station. Already been stripped by my second daughter Rhiannon. We're going to go ahead and start making some out of these. So we're going to start up here with the tip, and it's the same thing as the other one. Take a cutting, try to get at least 2 of the nodes under the soil and pack it down. Ones like this really make nice new clones because they come out bushy, but they take up a lot of space on a tray like this. So these ones a lot of times I'll put in a separate pot by itself. Now when you're doing mass production stuff like this, there's one thing you've got to make sure you do. Since these really can't be told apart until they actually produce their fruit, which is somewhat annoying, and that's happened to me in the past. Basically, there's one surefire way to make sure I don't have a mistake later. And that is, don't forget to label. Labeling, make sure you use a good quality permanent marker like a black Sharpie. Now, special thanks to my second daughter for helping me film this. She was my cameraman, or camera girl as it may be today. Thank you very much, Rhiannon. And everybody, you have a good day.